Good evening, and welcome to the Apache Junction Area Chamber of Commerce's 2024 Candidate Forum. I'm Mary Ann Shabilsky, President and CEO of the Apache Junction Area Chamber of Commerce, and I'd like to welcome you to a special two-part municipal election forum. First, we will hear from our two mayoral candidates. Then, upon its conclusion, we will present a forum featuring the four candidates for City Council. Jointly presented as a community service by the Apache Junction Area Chamber of Commerce and our presenting sponsor, Salt River Project, we would like to thank SRP for their continued support of the business community. Without their contribution, this event would not be possible. This forum is being recorded thanks to the City of Apache Junction and is being broadcast live on Apache Junction's Channel 11 and live streamed at www.apachejunction.az.gov/livestream. And I want to thank all the candidates for joining us tonight to discuss those issues important to our business community. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce tonight's sponsor, Jessica Mayer, Senior Chamber Relations Representative for SRP, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, as well as our candidate introductions. Please stand.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Your attendance here tonight is vital to a healthy political process. That's why by the end of the evening, we hope that you will come away with a greater knowledge of the candidates and their positions on issues so that you may make a more informed decision when you cast your ballot. I'd like to thank the candidates for joining us this evening and introduce our two mayoral candidates. We have Ari Callan and Chip Wilson. Now it's my privilege to introduce our moderator for tonight's forum. Ward Nichols is a fifth-generation native to Arizona and the East Valley. He's been a business entrepreneur most of his life and has built and sold several of his businesses. In 2002, Ward was asked to run for the Arizona House of Representatives and was honored to win and serve the people of Arizona until 2010, when he was termed out from serving. While serving in the legislature, Ward chaired the Rules Committee and had several bills signed by Governors Napolitano and Brewer. Wanting to get back to family and business, Ward chose not to run for the Arizona Senate and left public service. Since leaving elected office, Ward has built and sold another business and currently works for ASU, running the East Valley Office of Government and Community Engagement. He loves working with the elected officials and the business community of the East Valley on behalf of ASU. He's been married to Paula for 32 years, and they have 3 children. Please welcome Ward Nichols.
Thank you, and good evening, and thank you all for participating, candidates and the public. I mean, it's the public that puts them into office, right? And holds accountability, and thank you for running for public office, especially during some of these tumultuous times that we live in. So. The Chamber and its partners have made every effort to assure tonight's forum will be neutral, balanced, and provide each candidate an equal opportunity for expression of views, resulting in an evening we trust that is both informative and lively. Tonight's questions have been compiled by the Apache Junction Area Chamber of Commerce member businesses and community partners that address issues impacting Apache Junction and the business community. In answering, we ask the candidates provide a brief and succinct response so that the maximum number of questions may be asked. Now, I would like to outline the format and rules for tonight's forum. Earlier this evening, candidates drew numbers on the order in which they are seated. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement to use as they wish. Candidates will have a maximum of 2 minutes to respond to each question, and rebuttals, if wanted, will be allowed up to 1 minute each. At the end of the question and answer series, each candidate will have 1 minute for closing statement, given in reverse order of the opening statements. To ensure fairness and equal opportunity for expression of views and positions, response times will be electronically monitored. Finally, to ensure a fair and nonpartisan forum and for the purpose of our live broadcast, we ask that the audience remain respectful during the forum. Outburst, displaying of signs, comments, and any type of disruptive behavior during the forum will not be allowed. Anyone who engages in these activities will be asked to leave or will be removed. Now let's get started. Are we ready? Okay. Our opening statements will begin with Ari. Ari, the floor is yours.
All right, well, hello everybody, and thank you for taking the time tonight to learn a little bit about myself and your other candidates for mayoral and for city council. For those of you who do not know who I am and are sitting there wondering who's the man behind this bold mustache, my name is Ari Callan. I'm a homegrown man. I grew up right here in Apache Junction and graduated from Apache Junction High School in 2006. I'm a licensed general contractor, small business owner, and member of the Planning and Zoning Commission. I understand what the city means to the people who live here, as well as its appeal to newcomers. As a father of 3 young children, one of which we just had 3.5 months ago, I'm passionate to make sure Apache Junction remains a beautiful and safe place to live. As mayor, I'd be able to bridge the gap between the past and future of the city by being a voice for our deep-rooted residents and a representative for our residents to come. I want to be your voice, making sure you and our city are not overlooked as our small town atmosphere is at risk of disappearing. With my combined passion for our community, and my background in construction management, I believe I offer unique experiences that make me the best candidate to lead Apache Junction into the future. I envision Apache Junction holding on to what's always made our city a unique and great place to live by doing all that we can to retain our small town, rural atmosphere, lifestyles, and appeal. As a community, it is necessary that we make sure that the new southern expansion of Apache Junction and historical AJ remain connected, not just as a city, but as a community with purpose and direction. With that, I look forward to tonight's discussion, and I'm humbly asking you to consider giving me the opportunity to be your next mayor.
Thank you, Ari. Chip.
Yes. First off, I've been involved with the city now for over 17 years. Been involved with area activities, representing everyone from the city, and also representing the city at over 7 different organizations that are involved with the city operations. These organizations are of great concern as they have plans for the desires for the future and the growth of our community. These meetings are kept a very special place for me and keep me very busy throughout the year. I've also been involved with the following over state legislators. Unfortunately, our state legislators want to do away with some of the things that we have for our community. And for example, zoning. It's been very involved with the state legislator this last session, and I have worked with several legislators in trying to pull the mic up, okay. I've worked with the legislators in several of our responses to these bills, and also have worked with our current governor, as well as our previous governor, Governor Ducey, in addressing different things that affect the city. I am a retired Air Force veteran for over 22 years of service. I've also been retired from Boeing facilities there in Mesa. My career has been through electronics technician, that's repair and certified of all test equipment, and was used for these aircraft. We moved to Apache Junction in 1990, been involved in the horse community since then, and it's one of the things that's very dear to my heart is keeping the rural abilities of our community and the style. Where else can you go in our state and find someone riding a horse downtown? Thank you.
Okay, thank you both. And just a reminder to keep the mic up close so the back of the room can hear, and online. It's hard to pick up if you're not speaking right into the mic. Okay, question 1, and we will begin with Chip on this question. Tell us why you wanted to run for office and what qualifications and skill sets do you bring to the table?
The reason why I wanted to continue running is I have a great desire to complete an activity which we just got started on, and that's going to affect over 4,000 homes in the city, and that's the flood retention for the Weeks Wash. It is something that every monsoon season, we get to see a lot of flooding in our community, and it's something that we've been able to get some federal funding. Of course, now we're working on some other funding as well to try to get this accomplished, to remove the flooding that happens every monsoon season when we have a lot of rain. I like the service of the community, serving the community. It's something that I enjoy in talking to people, addressing their concerns, their complaints, finding out what we can do to help them out. It is something that I've been heavily involved in representing the city throughout the, I'll say throughout the state of Arizona. It's something that I've enjoyed, and I plan to continue on doing this as long as I can.
Thank you, Chip. Ari, same question. Tell us why you wanted to run for office and what qualifications and skill sets do you bring to the table?
Well, it's always been a dream of mine since I've been a kid, you know, first as kids playing and being, you know, silly and saying, oh, I'll be the mayor one day. And growing up, living life, and now having a family of my own, I really want to do what I can for my community and my neighbors and my children to make sure that AJ stays a safe, beautiful city without the problems that we see in neighboring larger cities. We need to make sure that our kids are safe. Obviously, our neighbors are safe. I bring some interesting, different ways of work to the city. That enables me to do what I need to do as mayor. I'm a general contractor, so my job is essentially connecting people and making sure from the bottom to the top, the project runs smoothly and the client is happy, which, you know, in our situation, the client is our neighbors, is our residents of our city. I love this city from the bottom of my heart. I would give my life for my family, but, you know, pretty much to the city as well. And I want to do all that I can to keep this a beautiful, safe place to live. I want to make sure that we retain our beautiful skies, that we keep our small town rural feel, and not destroy ourselves with all the growth and just becoming another large, unrecognizable city. We need to retain what makes AJ beautiful and keep it a safe place to live. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ari. Okay, Ari, we're going to start this question with you. What are your 2 top priorities you want to see accomplished during your term, and how will these priorities further the long-term sustainability and economic growth of Apache Junction?
So over the last few years, we've had a lot of new housing developments that have been approved through the city that are rental apartments, rental condos, rental townhomes. On P&Z, I've pushed hard against that. I've asked the builders if they would be willing to, beautiful, beautiful project, but let's make these homes that our residents can purchase and have a vested interest in our community. I'm going to be striving for new building to be something that our residents and future residents can call a piece of their own, so they have that vested interest in our city. And after all, you know, that's the American dream. I understand a big movement towards rentals, just in general, but is that what's best for our community? Many of my fellow residents disagree with that. I also want to get back, stay on top of ADOT and work with them closely to open up our congestion here on the 60 to see if we can't get another lane from at least Sossaman through Gold Canyon to help with not just the seasonal traffic, but our growing daily traffic. I want to make sure that our infrastructure could handle all that. I want to make sure that our roads are maintained, and we got to be able to make sure that we don't congest our city any more than it already is. And we have to stay on top of that and look into the future and work with the proper authorities to make sure that we can do that.
Thank you, Ari. Chip, same question. What are your 2 top priorities you want to see accomplished during your term, and how will these priorities further the long-term sustainability and economic growth of Apache Junction?
Well, I've mentioned the first one in the aspect, and that's the retention for the Weeks Wash. Again, this affects over 4,000 homes in the city, and this would decrease the flood insurance for the people that live in these areas. It would decrease the cost to the city in recovery. Every major monsoon storm that we have, and also save some lives. When the police are responding to these incidents, they are the first responders to be out there, as well as our fire department to be out there. And they have to put their lives in danger to help people that that become stranded out in these water areas. So it's number one priority. The second thing is, number one, and the aspect is, again, and I'll agree with RE, is preserving our rural lifestyle here in Apache Junction. It is something that's very dear to my heart. It is something that attracted me to this community back in 1990 when we moved here, and it's something I want to preserve for everyone. And rural aspects of our community, the different areas of our community, it is something that's very important for me to preserve, and it's something that we need to make sure. Again, we are known for our rural abilities here in Apache Junction, and I want to preserve it. The new growth to the south can be great, and it can add to our community for numbers, to increase the number of businesses that come in and everything. That's something that's great for our community.
Okay, thank you, Chip. Okay, Chip, you get the first option at this question here.
He wants to.
Oh, Ari, you need to have a rebuttal? Okay, please, 1 minute.
Not so much a rebuttal, but
Comment?
probably one of the things I'm most passionate about, and it, in the moment skipped my mind. I really want to work on, and I know we're already doing it as a city, the development of our new downtown area. I'd like to see a small entertainment district, not just for our local residents to enjoy with their friends and family and give them a place to stay here in AJ, but also so that we can capture a lot of the tourism that comes through. And they end up leaving and going to Mesa and Gilbert and surrounding cities and spending their revenue in those cities. And as a city that survives on tax revenue, sales tax revenue, that would be crucial to help us sustain a long future here in Apache Junction.
Can I add one comment?
Thank you. Chip, do you have any
Yeah,
comment?
I'll
Okay,
say a
1
comment
minute,
on
please.
that. We currently have done the studies, and we're involved in doing this, and it's something that we've started, say, over a year ago now, and continuing on. And this past week, we had a forum over at the Multi-Generation Center, which brought out everything, the plans that's going on with this.
Okay, thank you. Next question is for you, Chip, first. Quality jobs attract businesses and qualified workers. What is your plan to target industries that will increase the opportunities for the residents in Apache Junction?
Well, first off, I'm going to say, in the aspect is, we're in a unique situation here. We're close to the Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport, which has a tremendous number of new job opportunities that are coming in. We also, just to the south of the city, we have the LG facility that's coming in, and that one is expected to bring in anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 jobs in the aspect on it. Here at the university here in town, they are going to be doing classes that are going to be teaching the future employees of that company to be able to assist them in their growth as they continue on growing. And they're starting to put them all under construction. Around the Mesa Gateway Airport, there's over 4,000 job opportunities that are coming on board, and it is something that we can take advantage of being next door to it. I would like to be able to attract some of the businesses into some of our areas close to the downtown in the aspect on it, and we're working on attracting them ourselves in it and through our public relations individual that is currently going out and talking to potential businesses and companies and showing them what we have to offer and what is needed to bring them in. And it's something that that's been ongoing, and we need to continue on driving forward and opening all these doors. Thank you.
Thank you, Chip. Ari, same question. Quality jobs attract businesses and qualified workers. What is your plan to target industries that will increase the opportunities for residents in Apache Junction?
So this is something that we're currently struggling with. We see it on planning and zoning, and the council comes across it, is getting businesses, larger businesses, especially retail businesses, to come to our city because we don't have the per capita that they want to bring those businesses here to our city. So I think we need to look at how we can help the smaller businesses thrive here. How can we help them open and expedite quickly? We have a lot of older buildings that aren't up to code, and it takes a lot to get those open and going. We need to look at incentives for small businesses to open in those buildings. We need to look at, I don't want to say cutting the red tape, but we need to look at maybe putting off their dues till they can get open, put all their money towards opening, and then have them maybe on a payment plan to pay the city the dues that the city collects. Some of our older buildings too, we could also see about working with the federal government at seeing if we can secure some historic preservation tax credits so we can keep a lot of these amazing, beautiful, distinguished AJ buildings instead of just tearing them down and building something new, modern that does not fit what Apache Junction is. So this is going to be something that we're going to struggle with for a long time. I know that with our growth to the south, down there, we'll be able to bring a lot more of those larger retails and job opportunities there. Here in what I like to call Old Town AJ now, or historic AJ, we're going to have to do as we've always done. We have to rely on our neighbors and help out our neighbors with our small businesses. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ari. All right, next question, Ari, we're going to start with you. As you are aware, each city or town in Arizona adopts a general plan for the future growth of that city or town. What is your vision looking out the next 5, 10, and 20 years on the state land that lies within the planning area of Apache Junction?
Ooh, that's a fantastic question. Thank you. Well, if and when it does open, the state land around here in AJ, I believe a lot of that should be geared towards obviously houses, but we also do need to bring in some commercial industry to keep our residents here in Apache Junction and spend our money here in Apache Junction, because that's what helps keep our city thriving, being a city that survives on a sales tax. We have some interesting state trust land that eventually will open in, between, Goldfield and, or you're referring specifically to the master plan downtown?
Any of the state land.
Okay. A lot of it, we just went over this with some developers, are going to be tough to develop because we have slivers of it that are weird, odd shapes and very thin, so to speak. But that's not a bad thing because it means we get to keep our desert. You know, it would be nice to see a lot of the desert stay. You know, obviously at some point we're all growing and we're going to need to put people somewhere and give them places to go. But I would love to see we keep as much of our desert as possible because we're one of the few remaining cities in the Phoenix area that has this, that has our deserts, that has hiking trails that anybody can go. People that live here, people that want to come visit, people that do visit because of those things. And I think it's important to try to maintain or retain as much of that as possible to keep as beautiful desert, you know, help keep our skies beautiful, help keep the congestion down, but be there for all of us to be able to share and use. Thank you.
Thank you, Ari. Chip, same question. As you are aware, each city or town in Arizona adopts a general plan for the future growth of that city or town. What is your vision looking out the next 5, 10, and 20 years on state land that lies within the planning area of Apache Junction?
Well, first off, I'm going to address the land immediately to the south in the state land. That is, some of it has already been designated as in a plan for industry and commercial activities, and we need to definitely, you know, include that and encourage it and promote it and do whatever we can to, you know, keep it going. To the east of that area, it can be some more obviously development and homes in the aspects on it. The areas on the eastern part and the northern part of our community is something that is currently zoned, I'm going to say, is large lot for homes in the area, but it's something that we definitely want to preserve in the aspects that we can have the open space and keep it open. And of course, we have trails that go into part of it, which is designated as part of the BLM land that's in that area, as well as some of the state land. We have trails going through that our Parks and Rec maintain and keep up. And that's where our rodeo grounds is located at on the north end of the city. It is something that is part of our community, and we want to preserve it and keep it going. And is something that is an attraction to our community, and we definitely want to keep it there.
Okay, thank you, Chip. Any rebuttals? We're good? Okay. We'll lead off for the next question, and Chip, you will take the lead on this one. The City of Apache Junction road tax will expire in 2025. What is the city's plan to fund the maintenance and repair of our roads in the future and to develop the necessary infrastructure south of the US 60 for future commercial and industrial growth?
That is something that we are currently under studying as to what needs to be done. It is I'm going to say a little over $1 million a year in taxes that we collect from that. That has been something that we have used to help, I'll say, subsidize the HERV funds that come in. And the HERV funds have been rated by our state legislators to fund different activities through the ADOT, as well as police activities through the state police. And so we have lost those funds. And so we've been, our hands are definitely handcuffed in the aspect on this. We do not have a property tax for the city of Apache Junction. So this is somehow we have been able to raise the funds to be able to keep the roads open and to be able to build new roads that need to be done in our community. We get funds from the Pinell County maintenance tax as well, and that's up for re-voting on this coming election. And I do encourage everyone to do that because Pinell County shares some of that funds with the city of Apache Junction to help keep our roads in good maintenance and good repair. It's one of the things that when we implemented it, if you remember back several years ago, the road was, the Apache Trail was very poor and very, I'm going to say, rough. And of course, we had to spend a lot of money to go in and fix it up and repave it. And that's something that we have used that funds for. And we've made many other improvements of other roads throughout the city.
Okay, thank you. Ari, same question. The City of Apache Junction road tax will expire in 2025. What is the city's plan to fund the maintenance and repair of our roads and to develop the necessary infrastructure south of the US 60 for future commercial and industrial growth?
As a city, as Chip said, doesn't collect money on property tax, we survive to pay for everything, police, employees of the city, the roads, based on simple sales taxes. We're going to have to look at it, and we're going to have to talk to the community and say, hey, do we want to continue doing this? These are all the pros. Do we want nice roads? Do we want to have our potholes filled? Do we want to have our lights maintained? Because it's a lot easier to maintain something than it is to let it become dilapidated and repair. It's a lot cheaper. So that's something that we're going to have to go out to the community, speak with the community, hold hearings, and then put it to a vote. That's what a city does and government is supposed to do, for the people, by the people, and see what it does, or see where we get, and hopefully we can come to terms and be able to fund what we need to fund in the city. But on top of that, I would work with all the proper transit authorities to make sure that we can get as many grants as we can that they have available to them, and to not overlook us just because we're just little AJ out there in the middle of nowhere. We need to be able to get what we can get, and I believe I can talk to those people and make them make them see our side and why they should give us these funds on a town that needs those and really, really struggles without having those things. When it comes to a lot of the growth to the south, as what's already happened so far, a lot of the road improvements and everything down there was kind of lumped into the deal. The builders take care of that. So that's always a good incentive to do. Like I said earlier, with any of our businesses opening, is to give them incentives to do the things that need to do to make their areas thrive and succeed.
Thank you.
Got a response?
Yes, Chip, 1 minute.
Yes. One of the things that we do have in the aspect is what we call MAG, which is the Maricopa Association of Governments, has working with developing the roads in the aspect. We just teamed up with them in making plans and have acquired some funds from them to do the studies and developing some of our roads. And it is the Meridian to the south, as well as 24, has been financed by them, and something that we need to continue on, and I sit on their board.
Okay, okay. All right, Ari, you get to lead off on this next question. Arizona has had a very diverse population since statehood in 1912. We have always been very accepting of diverse races, cultures, and groups with differing opinions, and part of that acceptance is what has made Arizona great. As Arizona continues to grow, we see many citizens from various diverse backgrounds calling Arizona home. Is there anything you can do as mayor to ensure that strategies are being implemented to continue to promote diversity and inclusion?
So we're talking about immigration and stuff, right? On my father's side, I'm first-generation American. My dad came here from a place that was pretty oppressive and wanted to do what he could do to better himself and eventually have a family that could live free and have a wonderful life. It's an interesting question. Obviously, we all know that we're strength in numbers, and America's always been a melting pot. You know, it's also important, though, that people that want to be American understand what being an American is, and that we have certain rights, and that you should. That's a good question. We all need to be able to be ourselves, right? But nobody should have to change what they believe in order to make somebody else feel better. We can disagree. That's what being an American is and what's great. We don't need to be called certain something because you don't agree with something, and at the same time, we don't need to be calling somebody something just because we don't agree with it. It's important that we respect one another, we treat each other with love, and we do our best, stay in our lane. And if you are being a victim of any of that stuff, what's the old saying? Sticks and stones may break my bones. And be strong, be the stronger person, and be a great American. America was founded by a lot of people with different ideas, ideals, and beliefs, and they were able to come together and forge this beautiful document and create this wonderful country that we call home, the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Ari. Chip, same question. Arizona has had a very diverse population since statehood in 1912. We have always been very accepting of diverse races, cultures, and groups with differing opinions, and part of that acceptance is what has made Arizona great. As Arizona continues to grow, we see many citizens from various diverse backgrounds calling Arizona home. Is there anything you can do as mayor to ensure that strategies are being implemented to continue to promote diversity and inclusion?
Well, first off, if there's ever been someone that has been, I'm going to say, been attacked or not attacked, excuse me, been chastised because of their background, I definitely would not support this in any way, shape, or form. I myself am a first-generation American citizen. My dad was born in Portuguese West Africa. His parents were missionaries there, and he came to Canada for school, and then came to the United States in 1944 to go to the university there in Chicago. And then that's where he met my mother, and that's where I eventually came as being the anchor for keeping him in the United States, because they were in the process of deporting him. One of the things that he had to do was go through the proper channels and do all the work to become a U.S. citizen. He taught us, as in our family as kids, that how great the United States was and what we needed to do to actually protect it and doing it. And that's something that I got from my dad, even though he was not a U.S. citizen. Eventually, in the beginning, he became very much in love of this country. I do that as well as myself. And I am one person that, like I said, I've served in the Air Force for 22 years. I protected the United States and will stand up strong for the United States in the aspects on it and protect anybody, their opinions, whether I agree with them or not. They have a right for that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next question. Chip, we'll lead off with you. With the continued growth of the East Valley, Apache Junction is often seen as a blank canvas of opportunity. How have you prepared yourself in the community to lead a progressively growing city into the future while honoring the past?
Well, for one thing, I still ride my horse, so I'm keeping the past going there. But one of the things that I have very active involved is there's several different organizations that I said that I'm part of, and one of them is the Phoenix East Valley Economic Group, and they council, excuse me, and they have been something that's been promoting and trying to acquire different types of businesses that we can acquire and can get into our community. I am sitting on one of their boards as well in the aspect on it, because this is something that interests me in keeping us going. We have different opportunities to promote the city of Apache Junction to different businesses. I attended a meeting here a few weeks ago where there were several companies that are from other nations throughout the United States, the world, and they are looking at opportunities to come to the United States and have them. And it was an opportunity to talk to them and to find out what their interests were and relate to them what we have to offer here in Apache Junction, and something that I have been very actively promoting and will continue doing that as well.
Okay, thank you. Ari, same question. With the continued growth of the East Valley, Apache Junction is often seen as a blank canvas of opportunities. How have you prepared yourself in the community to lead a progressively growing city into the future while honoring the past?
This is a great question, and one that I hold near and dear. As we've seen in a lot of the surrounding cities, places that had a rich history and culture to their city, they've, in the name of growth, became like every other city. So we're going to have to ask ourselves as a city, what do we want to become? Of course, we're going to grow. That's inevitable. There's always growth. But what direction are we going to go? Are we going to grow into looking like every other city around us? Or are we going to grow and be able to retain what Apache Junction is, the place that we call home, and people from all over the world come through to see that mountain? I think that it's important that obviously we're gonna want to attract businesses, but are we just going to want to slam a bunch of stuff in here just so, oh, we have this, we have that, we have this now? You know, we've changed a lot over the last 5-6 years. And there's been a lot of good changes and growth, but we have to, I think we're reaching a tipping point now where we're either going that direction or we're going to go that direction. And what I mean by that is, are we going to turn into just a massive growing city, or are we going to grow responsibly and try to retain why we all live here and love our city? Because it's not like every other city. AJ is unique. It's the only place in the valley where you can have that beautiful view over here, and also you can still see Four Peaks. We're close to the lakes. We have beautiful land. We have beautiful skies. And personally, I think it's very important that we consider all those things when we're growing, and not just growing and slamming a bunch of stuff in our city just for the sake of growth. We need to really look at what we're growing into, and make sure that's right for not just the city, but the residents of the city.
Okay, thank you. Chip, 1 minute.
Yes, one of the things I want to emphasize the fact that, number one, we are controlling our growth for what we want. We have a general plan that was approved by the voters of the city, and that's what we're going to preserve in the aspect on it. We have dark skies that we're working towards through using the dark sky lighting, and it's something that we want to preserve. Keeping our state legislators out of our back pockets to allow us to keep the limit in the height of buildings. I know our state legislators wanted to allow an 8-story building within a mile of a major road, and have many of them. We don't want that. So again, we need to be in contact with our state legislators to make sure that this does not happen.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ari, this next question's for you. We know that in Arizona, whiskey's for drinking and water's for fighting, right? And we've seen a lot of changes in Arizona around water policy and moving forward. So the question is around water, as you would guess. So how will you use your position as mayor to ensure sustainability of Apache Junction's 100-year designation of assured water supplies in a rapidly changing water environment?
I believe as mayor, the best thing that I could do with water conservation is to help promote different ways that we as residents of the city can be mindful of how we use our water. I don't believe in making proclamations and laws prohibiting what we can do, but we all do need to be mindful, because we do live in a desert and we don't always have the rain that's going to supply our water. You know, we're always told we got plenty of water for here forever, which from my understanding is we do. We actually use less water now with all the new residential than we did in the past with all of our agriculture. So water usage in the state hasn't really changed at all over the last 50 years. It's maintained the same when you actually possibly even gone down a little bit when you take away the agriculture and bring in the housing and the people. My main thing, like I said, would just be education on what we can do to save our water and limit our water use. Stay away from natural grass if we can. Desert-friendly plants. Being in construction, a lot of the plumbing features now that used to be low flow, we all hated, and you wanted to just rip them apart and throw them out. They actually work a little better now, and still giving you some pressure and being able to do their job. So I think the key as mayor would be education, educating the residents on how we as individuals can help conserve our water. Thank you.
Thank you. Chip, same question. How will you use your position as mayor to ensure sustainability of Apache Junction's 100-year designation of assured water supplies in a rapidly changing water environment?
Yes, one of the things that I can say, for previously, we've had, for our Apache Junction Water District, we voted on acquiring some Indian water that at the time I thought was ridiculous high priced, and but reluctantly voted for it, and found out that if we tried to buy it today, it would be outrageously expensive. It's something that we need to be able to maintain and have. We didn't need it at the time, and today, with the new growth to the south, we're going to be using up a little over half of that water in these aspects on it. We still have plenty of water on it, on this, what's on the books that we can have. We're doing as much as we can to recycle water, any aspect on it. And of course, on the recycling of water is something that some people get a little concerned about. But again, this is water that is used, it's gone filtering, it's done something that we're removing everything from it, so it's pure water. It is something that we're looking at to expand our abilities to have more usable water. But that's something that's going to be happening in the future. We don't need it right now, but one of the things that we need to have more than anything else is cooperation from the general public. Just like Ari said, we need to be educating them so that they understand what we need to do and making sure that the plants we plant are desert friendly, that we have them in the aspects on it to preserve our water rights.
Okay. Thank you. Marianne, I'm sorry, I'm going to go off script for just a second here and ask a follow-up question to the water question, if you don't mind. As you're probably aware, SRP is looking at raising one of the dams on the Verde watershed. Do you support that, and what are your thoughts around that? And I think Chip will lead off with you on this one.
Yes, we do support this in this aspect on it. It's something that we're currently working on. We've got an investment into it through the Apache Junction Water District. We're I would say, heavily involved into this and to what's going to be a future in the aspect on it. It's something that we need to expand our water capabilities so, when we have more development to the south, we'll have the water that will be able to be supplied. And it is something that we're continually working on and looking at other avenues of acquiring more water as well. And it's going to be a huge growth of the dam.
Okay, thank you. Ari, same question. Do you support the raising of the dam by SRP on the Verde watershed?
Well, it is important to have water for our growing populations. When it comes to how we support that, as with anything, with SRP raising that, that's gonna, at the end of the day, come to the consumer's pocket. I think that's something that we need to talk with the residents and see if everyone's on board with that, and not just be making executive decisions when it's coming down to something that's gonna be directly in someone's pocket, especially in today's day and age. I don't know about all of you, but raising 3 kids and trying to get by today is really tough. So any added dollar we're having to spend, and we're already seeing it with electricity, with water, it hurts. So I think it's important that we talk to the community before we do make any major decisions on behalf of them as the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Ari. And I think we have time for one more question, possibly before we go into closing statements. So let's see. Ari, we're going to begin with you on this one. Education at all levels drives economic development. As your role as mayor, what tools do you have in your toolbox to support the education of all citizens in Apache Junction?
Well, education is near and dear to me. My mom was a school teacher here in Apache Junction for about 20 years. Now she's in administrative. I believe that the school really gives the feel of the city, and how our children are being raised in the school and how they feel about their school and their environment is very important to building not just spirit for their school, but for the city, and for them to be happy and excited about where they live. As a kid, I grew up in older AJ, Confunction Junction, we were called when we went and played football and basketball against Chaparral and Saguaro. And look now, they're all moving here. Why? Because they realize this is a beautiful place to live. So education's definitely important. It's near and dear to me. I think that as mayor, I would work closely as best I can with the school district. It's a different entity than the city, but I would do the best I could. I would love to go in and talk to the kids. Because I remember Mayor Coleman years ago, he would come in and speak to us. He was a teacher at the school. He was somehow the mayor. He had, 10 kids. He was a teacher. He did it all. But he would come, he'd talk to us, and he kept us involved in the city. And he really opens your eyes to how the city works and why you should love where you live. And I would love to have that opportunity to go and speak to those kids So they love where they're at, and instead of leaving, deciding to stay and, you know, continue the traditions of Apache Junction and raising their families here and really keeping it a wonderful, beautiful place. Thank you.
Thank you. Chip, same question. Education at all levels drives economic development. As your role as mayor, what tools do you have in your toolbox to support the education of all citizens in Apache Junction?
Well, one of the things that we need to, what we're doing now and we need to continue doing is having a lot of public forums as to notifying the general public as to what we're doing, what's going on. And of course, you know, in the aspects, we have an open council meeting where you can come and listen. You can go on to the city facilities and look up what's, you know, the city's last council meeting and to, you know, see what's going on. Part of the education needs to be that we need to promote what's going on in our community. Unfortunately, a lot of times we become, I'll say, a little bit lazy and just go with what's going on. Well, YouTube or Instagram has come out and said something about what's going on. Well, let's get the full facts before we respond. It's just like this meeting that we had for the downtown area. It was attended by over 100 people, which was fantastic. Everyone was amazed at the number of people that came out. And it's something that we need to continue on doing, and I'm glad to see that the community is interested and is involved. As far as education of the youth, in the aspect on it, yes, I've also gone to schools, and not necessarily just in Apache Junction, but to other schools as well, that, you know, will teach them about the cities and how your vote is important in determining how the growth of your community goes on through the city. And I've offered it to the Apache Junction High School, and they've not taken me up on it, but my offer is still there.
Okay, thank you. And sorry, Marianne, I'm just going to ask one quick follow-up because this will be a quick question to the education question. Are you aware that the Apache Junction Unified School District is going out for a bond this upcoming election, and do you support it? I think we start with Chip on that one.
Yes, I do support it 100%, and yes, I am very aware of it.
I think we've been trying to pass a bond for the school district since just after I graduated, so probably around 2008. It's important. I don't know if anybody sees our schools, but we finally were able to paint them. We were able to get some government funding, but our schools are in rough shape. You know, we can't get the proper people in there to help teach them that are going to do a great job. Bathrooms are dilapidated. It's important. I know a lot of people don't have children, so feel like they're not vested, and why should I give a little extra money to help the school district? But it's important because it's your community, and those kids at the school need that, and they're what's going to keep our community beautiful and a great place. And it's going to keep it a wonderful place to be happy to live for future generations.
They're the future of our country.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'd love to do another question, but we are officially out of time. And so based off the order, Chip, we'll give you your time for your closing remarks first.
Okay, well, first off, again, I want to appreciate everyone that showed up for this forum and the aspects on it. And I encourage you to come and vote, whether you vote for me or vote for RE. That is something that you make those decisions on. I am very, I'm going to say, positive as to our community. I want to keep our community what we currently have, keep the rural lifestyle, the rural atmosphere that we have in our community. Where else in a community can you go in the surrounding communities and find somebody riding their horse through a drive-through for a morning cup of coffee? I want that ability to still stay in the aspect in our community. We're known for it. Let's keep it there.
Thank you. Ari, your closing comments, please.
Well, thanks for coming and listening to me today. It's something that I think our nation has lost is people getting involved in civics. It's very important to know what's going on with your government, especially probably the most important government is your local government and municipalities. So thank you all for listening and getting involved, and hopefully we can all get more people to get involved. Like I've said, and I think I've said many times before, and I'll keep saying it, I love the city. I'm raising my family here. I want to make sure that my children continue to have a beautiful, safe place to live, as well as all of you and your children and grandchildren. My heart and soul are here. I don't know if you can see it, but you know, I get pretty emotional when I speak of things because that's truly how I feel. The only thing I prepared tonight was my opening statement because I feel like I should have came out strong, right? But I wing it, you know. But my heart is always there. I may not always have the right answers, but we learn. We ask questions, we speak to people, and we get the job done. Thank you so much. Ari Callan.
Okay, thank you. This concludes our first forum for the evening. We obviously heard some great answers and great discussion. And let's give the candidates a round of applause. I would again like to thank the Apache Junction Area Chamber of Commerce and their presenting sponsor, SRP, for their sponsorship. And thank you to the City of Apache Junction for allowing us to use the City Council chambers. This is the end of the Merrill Forum. We're going to take a short break and reset the room, and we'll be back in about 15 minutes for the council debate. Thank you.
Again, I'd like to thank all the candidates for joining us this evening to discuss those issues that are important to our business community. Now, it is my pleasure to once again introduce tonight's sponsor, Jessica Mayer. She is the Senior Chamber Relations Representative for SRP to lead us once again on the Pledge of Allegiance, as well as introduce our candidates for tonight.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Your attendance here tonight is vital to a healthy political process. That's why at the end of the evening, we will hope that you will come away with a greater knowledge of the candidates and their positions on issues so that you may make a more informed decision when you cast your ballot. I'd like to thank the candidates for joining us this evening and introduce our 4 city council candidates. We have Peter Heck, Bambi Johnson, Mo Mohudin, and Tess Nesser. Now it is my privilege to introduce our moderator for tonight's forum. Ward Nichols is a 5th-generation native to Arizona and the East Valley. He's been a business entrepreneur most of his life and has built and sold several of his businesses. In 2002, Ward was asked to run for the Arizona House of Representatives and was honored to win and serve the people of Arizona until 2010 when he was termed out from serving. While serving in the legislature, Ward chaired the Rules Committee and had several bills signed by Governors Napolitano and Brewer. Wanting to get back to family and business, Ward chose not to run for the Arizona Senate and left public service. Since leaving elected office, Ward has built and sold another business and currently works for ASU, running the East Valley Office of Government and Community Engagement. He loves working with the elected officials and the business community of the East Valley on behalf of ASU. He's been married to Paula for 32 years, and they have 3 children. Please welcome Ward Nichols.
Thank you. Deja vu, right, for everybody that's been here. So, no, we appreciate all the candidates that are here, and we appreciate the audience that is here as well to take part of this political process that we're enjoying this evening. So, good evening, and thank you all for participating. I would like to thank all the candidates for joining us tonight during this busy election year. The Chamber and its partners have made every effort to assure tonight's forum will be neutral, balanced, and provide each candidate an equal opportunity for expression of views, resulting in an evening we trust that is both informative and lively. Tonight's questions have been compiled by the Apache Junction Area Chamber of Commerce member businesses and community partners that address issues impacting Apache Junction and the business community. In answering, we ask that candidates provide a brief and succinct response so that the maximum number of questions may be asked. Now I'll outline the format of rules for tonight's forum. Earlier this evening, candidates drew numbers on the order in which they are seated. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement to use as they wish. Candidates will have a maximum of 2 minutes to respond to each question, and rebuttals will be allowed up to 1 minute each. At the end of the question and answer series, each candidate will have 1 minute for closing statement, given in the reverse order of the opening statements. To ensure fairness and equal opportunity for expression of views, positions, response times will be electronically monitored. Finally, to ensure a fair and nonpartisan forum and for the purpose of our live broadcast, we ask that the audience remain respectful during the forum. Outburst, displaying of signs, comments, and any type of disruptive behavior during the forum will not be allowed. Anyone who engages in these activities will be asked to leave or will be removed. Ready to get started? Okay. The first is Peter. You're going to get to lead off opening statements, and then we'll proceed down the line. Please, Peter.
Thank you, Ward. Good evening. My name is Peter Heck, and I am running for another term on the City Council. It is an honor for me to be here this evening to share my vision for this city. I was appointed to the City Council 2 years ago. I believe the reason I was voted in to fill a vacant seat was due in large measure to my extensive volunteer service to the city as well as organizations that support the city. This includes being a commissioner on the Planning and Zoning Commission, serving on the board of the Apache Junction Area Chamber of Commerce, serving on the board of the Boys and Girls Club, serving on the board of the Friends of Lost Dutchman State Park, and most recently, serving with the A.J. Mounted Rangers, where I am currently in my second term as the captain. In addition, in my professional career, I was the executive director of a very successful senior living community here in Apache Junction for 11 years. Since being appointed to City Council, I was asked to represent the council on the board of GPEC, which is the Greater Phoenix Economic Council, as well as being asked to serve on the board of the Apache Junction Community Development Corporation. I believe these experiences have given me keen insight into the city, along with a deeper understanding of its strengths and opportunities for improvement. I believe strongly that this insight will continue to serve me if I'm appointed to another term on the City Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Bambi.
Good evening, everyone. I moved here from Pennsylvania 30 years ago. I came out here for a vacation, drove out to Apache Junction, went back and sold my house and returned, and have never left since. I came onto the council in 22, the same as Peter did. There were 2 openings, and they asked people that were interested in the well-being and the future of our city to please come and apply. Well, I had applied before for the couple of the boards, and I was placed on the municipal and the industrial board. And if you follow any of the boards, I can tell you I had nothing to do. So I thought maybe they'll find a spot for me on the City Council. I've been working in business for over 40 years. I started out in Pennsylvania with a small consulting firm, and what I did was consult for small businesses to make them successful in a town that was almost exactly the same size as here. I've worked with small businesses to multi-million-dollar businesses, working in manufacturing, retail, land development, and also worked with Washington County for their development in Pennsylvania. I hope those things brought experience for what I've been doing with the council. I feel like I have been doing an excellent job at it. I've been married to my current husband, notice he's current, for 12 years, and hopefully for many, many more. And I've been very involved in areas of the city and the veterans organizations. I'm a veterans advocate. I'm a U.S. Army veteran myself and was the organizer of the 9/11 memorials that we've had out at our Veterans Gazebo. And I really hope that I get the opportunity to go forward and try again.
Thank you, Bambi. Tess, opening statement, please.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Tess Nesser. I'm running for re-election. You voted me into office 4 years ago. just a little bit about who I am. I've been involved with the city of Apache Junction for, well, since about 1997. I started out, I used to come up here on Tuesday nights to city council meetings because it was good entertainment. So I've been coming to city council, almost every city council meeting since 1997. I was appointed to Planning and Zoning. I was the chairman of Planning and Zoning. I was on Parks and Rec, Library Board, all of those for over 20 years. I also was a volunteer for over 18 years with the police department, working with the detectives in the CID unit. Excuse me. I was a volunteer for 4 or 5 years with the Chamber of Commerce. I've been with the Boys and Girls Club on their board of directors for almost 25 years. With SACA, the Focal Point, State of Arizona, several different boards. I was on the State Parks Board, Historic Commission. City of Apache Junction, or the County of Pinal, I should say. I was on an adult probation, and I've been on an entertainer at the Renaissance Festival. So I have quite a conglomerate of hobbies I've done.
Thank you. Mo, your
Yes,
opening
sir.
statements, please.
Yep. Good evening. First and foremost, I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for putting up these forums. And I would like to thank you, Peter, Tess, and Bambi, for being here, almost mayoral candidates Chip and Ari. My name is Mahmoud Mohyuddin. I'm running for the City of Apache Junction Council. And I'm excited to share with you guys the concern, all the positive directions, and what is the future is going to bring, and help the community and help the public, and what they are missing, the problem, what they have done, and what they needed, and that's what my goal is, to present the City of Apache Junction people and the constituents. And if you guys elect me and I get on it, and I'll be helping to serve you guys and the city, protect the city, and work with all the people. I have not served any board, and people around here for 15, 20 years, there's a different boards, they work on it. They did the customer service, they did the public service through the board, but I have a small business, and I am serving communities in different ways. Fire department, public service, all of the police department, and Boys and Girls Club. We have did the fundraisers and all that stuff to help the community. That's what is I have done. And basically, that's all I have to say on it, and let's get the question going.
Okay, thank you. Just a quick reminder, if you have cell phones, please make sure you silent them so there's no interruptions during the question and answers. Okay, Bambi, we're going to lead off with you on this question. Tell us why you wanted to run for office, and what special qualifications and skills do you bring?
Thank you. When I decided to run, it was because I got my feet wet. When I say that, when they put me on the board, when they chose me from those applicants, I wasn't really sure how that was going to work out. Because I had been coming to council, I've been watching it online, but I wasn't really sure how the whole process was going to be for me. Because I worked full-time, and there were so many things I wanted to do inside my city when they would come up. I'm about to retire in another week, finally, and I will be able to be out and about in the city, standing by our small businesses, talking with our citizens on a more regular basis. I bring a multitude of different things with me. I have had so much experience that is varied, from the time in the military to raising the kids, to starting my own business, picking up when I had to just pick up and move, and because my ex-husband had a heart attack. That's why we came here. And I changed my life 4 or 5 times. Every single time gave me a new view, gave me new experiences, and always left me completely open to meeting new people and trying new things. I've been very pleased with being able to be on the council, being able to be one of the people that has a voice for you. I greatly appreciate the time and the education that comes with being at a council meeting. It's not just the people of the city that get the education, it's your leaders, because our departments are so strong in bringing us the information for the betterment of our community.
Okay, thank you. Tess, same question. Tell us why you wanted to run for office and what qualifications and skill sets do you bring?
Okay. Originally, I was never planning on running for city council. I got involved to have something to do. I worked for the Pinell County Attorney's Office, but in the evenings I had not a lot to do. So I started attending the city council meetings, and that got me reawakened, if you will, civics in me. I was always a lover of government. Anyway, next thing I knew, a couple years later, here I got appointed to Parks and Rec and Library Board, and as I said, Planning and Zoning. And then I worked a little bit at the library, reshelving books. I've worked at the police department. So I've worked with all of these different departments. I have knowledge of what the different departments, how they function, and what they do in the city. Anyway, 4 years ago, opportunity just came about, and I ran for city council, and the community of AJ voted me into office. What I have to offer is I retired from the county attorney's office 14 years ago. So I have all that time on my hands that I didn't used to have in addition to when I was working and volunteering. Now I've got all kinds of time. So I need to do something, and I want to do it productively, so I'm involved. I stay involved. As many of you might know, I'm on Facebook all the time. I'm available. I've made myself specifically available 24/7, 7 days a week. Anybody can contact me, which they do. You know, I need somebody to make my neighbor clean up the dog poop in their backyard so I can enjoy my yard. So it's those kind of things that I do and I'm involved with, and I'm here for the community 7 days a week.
Okay, thank you. Mo, same question. Tell us why you wanted to run for office and what qualifications and skill sets do you bring?
Well, this couple of years ago, I decided to run for mayor and didn't work out, and trying to help the community and serve the community. And I decided to run for the city council. There's a city of Apache Junction doing a great job, and right now that we are growing really fast and all that stuff, and they're managing the control and how all that stuff is going on. If I get elected to see what's going on, my possibility I'll be able to help them with some stuff because of my knowledge and as a business owner, how to work and how to help this out. And mostly a lot of time, people come and complaints about they want to come to Apache Junction and they have a problem, major problem what they are having, can't get their permits, 14 to 16 weeks. We need help in this area. Brought that attention to a couple of council members, and they helped a little bit and got smoothed out. City of Apache Junction is not a proactive city. They know they're gonna grow. These plans going on for 2-3 years to approving this big housing on the south, all that stuff, they knew that. If they knew that, why they didn't hire the employee? Why they are not proactive? Nobody helping these people around in this town, and they're suffering it. I'm gonna be the bridge. I'm gonna be telling the people. I'm not gonna promise them I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna listen to them and help them to go with the city to solve their problems. That's what is a councilman's job. And we have not seen that one for a long time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Peter, Batten, clean up here, same question. Tell us why you wanted to run for office and what qualifications and skill sets do you bring to the table?
Thank you, Ward. I ran for city council back in 2016. I didn't get elected. I actually lost to Robert Schroeder by, what was it, 11 votes? 5 votes. Lost by 5 votes. But pardon? Oh, yeah. But in a way, it was a blessing in disguise, because knowing what I know now and what it takes to be effectively serving the city on city council, I never could have done that and still worked full-time. So it was I was really, looking back, very glad that that didn't happen. So from that point in time, then, I served on the Planning and Zoning Commission for 8 years, 3 years as a vice chair and 2 years as the chair. So that gave me, again, some insight into the city, its operations. And at that point, then, I determined, yes, I wanted to have the opportunity to take the next step and serve the residents on the city council. So the opportunity came through seeking to fill 2 vacant seats, and I was voted unanimously by the city council to do that. So I was very grateful. When I think about the skills that I bring, as I mentioned, I ran senior living communities for 35 years. I was executive director of multi-million-dollar communities. So I learned a lot about business operations, about budgeting, about human resources, a lot of things that are serving me well now in my capacity with city council. So I think those skills, along with an ability to work with a team, which the city council is absolutely a team and has to work as a team, and that's a gift that I have as well. So I'm looking forward to another term.
Thank you. Okay, Tess, you get to lead bat off here. The next question is what are your 2 top priorities you want to see accomplished during your term, and how will these priorities further the long-term sustainability and economic growth of Apache Junction?
If I have to pick just 2 things, the 2 that I would think that are the most important is our revenue source for the city of Apache Junction, and the other one is education. The revenue source, as you've heard a little bit tonight, is changing. Most of our money to run our city is from sales tax. That's the tax we collect from businesses, mostly. We don't make a lot of money off the houses that are being built. We get an initial amount, but over the years, we don't get anything more from those houses. We don't get any of the property tax that you pay to the county, to Pinal County. That's all goes to Pinal County and the state of Arizona. The city of Apache Junction gets absolutely 0 of that money. So we have to figure out how are we going to run the library, Parks and Rec, all of the programs. How are we going to have a police department? All of these different departments. Where is that money going to come from? And it's, as we said, sales tax, except you've heard tonight, the road funds, a lot of that's going away. They just took away rental tax. The state wants to raid and take away food tax. Okay, you keep taking it all away, how are we going to run this city? So that is one of the biggies that we have to address and look at, and we're discussing that. The other, real quick here, is when I said education, I mean a full trade school like CAC is finally doing, but we need a trade school that not only educates our high school kids, but also any grown adult who needs to be retrained to have a job to be a good citizen in our city.
Okay, thank you. Mo, same question. What are your 2 top priorities you want to see accomplished during your term, and how will these priorities further the long-term sustainability and economic growth of Apache Junction?
Thank you. Just like Tess mentioned about the tax, Apache Junction collects the 2% sales tax. Right now, the Apache Junction is growing. Planning and Zoning Commission and Apache Junction City Council converting the lot of property, commercial property, to residential properties. And they're building homes. They're putting rooftops. Just like these, all the apartments building it up, these are all the rental property cannot collect the tax on it. Right now, we have Apache Junction's only 7% commercial property left. Right now, there were already the council meeting or this planning and zoning commission meeting just approved of the south of the 60 by the Goldfield Road. They are changing from commercial to residential. That could be a good doctor's office, could all other different type of businesses. We got to bring the businesses in this town, and the people can shop in Apache Junction and generate the revenue, and the city can survive. We are not paying attention in that way. We are getting rooftops and rooftop and rooftop. Just like airport, surrounding this area, all industry area, warehouses and all. We should have some area be selected that one or appointed that area could be a industrial area where we can be used all year round. That's what we need in this town, more businesses, bring the mom-pop businesses. They are the backbone of the United States. That's be a long-term solution, how we can bring it in. All the tourism is going Tortilla Flat, they're going to Goldfield Ghost Town. We need to attract some people to stay in Apache Junction and spend their dollars in Apache Junction so we can survive.
Thank you. Peter, same question. What are your 2 top priorities you want to see accomplished during your term? And how will these priorities further the long-term sustainability and economic growth of Apache Junction?
Very good. Thanks, Ward. Well, first and foremost, it is economic development. Economic development is the cornerstone for this community because of, as was mentioned earlier, the revenue that we receive from the business sales tax. So the more business that we attract, the more opportunities we have to grow the business community, that will enhance our revenue. I think a key element in this is working with our Economic Development Director, Patrick Ainsworth. He has some very forward-thinking ideas about how and where we can look to create opportunities for commercial development as well as retail. All of those help to create and bring about additional revenue because, as was mentioned, we have in jeopardy right now some part of our sales tax that it may be expiring very soon, and we're going to have to look for ways that we can offset that if that's necessary. And one of the ways is we need to support the development of businesses in the community. The second item is, I was going to say water conservation, but I know we're going to hit that later on, so I'm not going to double up on that. I'm going to touch on something it's important out there, and it's something that I think does have some effect on this city. It's addressing the homeless situation. I think we need to have a humane and strategic approach to dealing with that. I've had the opportunity to, for the past, I think, 7 or 8 months, to attend a meeting of the AJ Homeless Coalition. It's about 15 organizations, charitable organizations, that provide a variety of services to our homeless. I have learned one thing, that addressing the homeless is an extremely complex issue and one we need to work on.
Thank you. Bambi, your cleanup this time on this one. What are your 2 top priorities you want to see accomplished during your term? And how will these priorities further the long-term sustainability and economic growth of Apache Junction?
When we're talking about sales tax, this is going across the board. We're not even going to go there because everybody's covered it very well. But if we're going to bring in more sales tax, more business, we need to have a focused plan. I hope a lot of you went and saw what we were talking about with the master plan. When you look at a downtown area, it needs to be a true downtown area. That's someplace where you're going to walk to you're going to park your car and you're going to walk and either go shopping or go to entertainment or go to eat your dinner. And it's going to be within about a block. Because let's face it, it's Arizona, it could be 110 degrees. You're really not going to walk a mile to go shopping. We are looking at and we're buying that property that's by the focal point. And we did that As a city, we're looking at that because we did not want to put houses there. We want to put commercial. We want things to go in there that you would enjoy getting in your car, driving over there, and enjoying your evening with friends. Those people that are living in the South with two new areas, we need to have something that engages them to get in their car and drive up here to enjoy our downtown area. So the master plan is one of the #1 areas. The second thing that goes with that in my mind is for all of the existing residents and businesses, we have really good relations when we're building something large, but I'd like to see us as a city put more emphasis on having dedicated people in part of our staff to help the businesses and the local residents get through whatever red tape they need to be able to upgrade their businesses.
Okay, thank you. All right, next question, Mo, you're going to lead off on this one. What are the most pressing issues facing the business community that you can work on in connection with the Chamber to keep our business community thriving?
As we know, in Apache Junction, we survive only in a winter when all the snowbirds are here. That is, fortunately, we have that business going in this direction. But what we are doing in a summer, a lot of businesses can't survive. They shut their doors and all that stuff. We need to work on it to allow the businesses, make the processes easy for them to open the business. If the city of Apache Junction is a process so difficult, you can't even get the permit from the city of Apache Junction to do work between 14 to 16 weeks. I just personally experienced, has to build a couple of bathrooms, take 14 to 16 weeks to get the permit. We put the tough shed over here. Tough shed people is certified, pre-engineered. They don't want to work in Apache Junction because our procedures are so difficult. We cannot freely cannot operate the businesses. Businesses don't want to come. More businesses going to come in this town. Is town going to survive? We're giving away the commercial property to a residential. And they're not generating any revenue, just making a quick bucks on the permits. We need to make a change in this town for the future, better for our kids, better your families, and do better all that stuff. We are looking at funding from the state, we are looking at the funding from the federal, we are looking at all that stuff. That's fine. But we need to look into lower level over there, what's going to suit for the people of Apache Junction. What is the best for them to live over here? That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to do.
Thank you. Peter, what are the most pressing issues facing the business community that you can work on in connection with the Chamber to keep our business community thriving?
I think one of the key issues that the business community faces is being able to sustain itself year-round, and also to be able to have staff employees that are trained properly. In terms of the sustainability, I think there are some things that the city can do. The city has, on its website, has a business resource directory. There's a lot of information, a lot of services available there to help smaller businesses learn and develop some techniques to be able to enhance their business. It's not an easy thing, but it's something that has to happen. I know the Chamber of Commerce has their shop local routinely. I think that's important as well. And I think utilizing the training sessions that come through the Chamber. In terms of training for your employees, I think that's a key issue. And I think we will certainly talk a little bit later about the Central Arizona College and some of the training that they are offering now, but also training for frontline staff people that can help to continue keep a business running and maybe cross-train folks that can do more than one job. So If the business is slow, they can take up other roles within the business. It's a challenge, but I think if a business owner has the opportunity, they can look at that resource directory within the city and within the chamber, which will provide them a lot of insight and a lot of additional support for how they can succeed in their business.
Thank you. Bambi, what are the most pressing issues facing the business community that you can work on in connection with the chamber to keep our business community thriving?
The fact that the chamber is underutilized, I think. They have a lot of members, but we still, even every single person that's in a business in this area should be a member and should be interacting with the chamber because they do have the resources to help those businesses. And a lot of times it really comes down to more of a communication or an education where we as a city can also help promote and remind people where all these resources are. It doesn't do anyone any good if we have a lot of resources, but the individual businesses aren't aware of them. I mean, I'm hoping that somewhere along the line, the chamber will also be helping us find a new source of information to put out. Once we lost the one paper, we have the Independent, and that is a good source of news. However, there's so much going on around here that needs to be out there on a regular basis. We have an information board. Maybe we need to look into better ways to get the information out. I think the chamber does a great job over there, but we need probably have more events between the city and the chamber with their resources available. I think just like when we have, if you have a tutoring session, you bring your teachers and you tell them about all the opportunities, we need to have more mixers where we're bringing our resources with us, our department heads, our specialty people, so that the public and those business owners have more of an opportunity to interact.
Thank you. Tess, your cleanup on this one. What are the most pressing issues facing the business community that you can work on in connection with the chamber to keep our business community thriving?
Well, to have a thriving business community in Apache Junction, I think there's several things that could be done and should be done that just make for a thriving business community anywhere. Number one, building the new homes is going to bring more people here. More people here is going to bring more businesses here. When we have, and I think Ari said it a little while ago, most of the bigger chain businesses don't come here because we don't have a large enough year-round population. They are looking at 50 or 55,000 people, year-round residents, before they'll even come here. But let's stick with the mom and pops, you know, let's keep them in business. That's what supports Apache Junction. One of the problems with that is how many times in the last couple years have we heard about people saying they've had to cut back hours and all because they can't get adequately trained people to take on these jobs? There again, I think that's where it's coming with the new trade school here that's developing at CAC. I think our high school needs to get more involved in trade programs. I mentioned it earlier, not only for high school kids, but for adults who need to be retrained. We just need to keep the people in our community. We need to offer them training here so they don't have to go to EVIT, Clarion Mesa. If they stay here, they get trained, they'll work here. I think that's more of what we need to do, and working with the Chamber of Commerce to promote our businesses. The Chamber does a great program. It starts every year, May 1st of, what's it called? Shop Local. So everybody, shop local.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, next question. Peter, you're going to lead off on this one. As you are probably aware, the Apache Junction Unified School District is going out for a bond this upcoming election cycle. Do you support this bond and effort, and if so, how do you plan on helping secure its approval?
The answer is yes, I'm aware that the school district is going out for a bond issue, and I support that. I have been around at least 2 times, I believe, where the school district went out for a bond issue. I know the last one was at SOS, Save Our Schools, and they tried diligently to get that passed. It is critical that the school district have this funding. As was mentioned, these schools need some upgrades. They need to be modernized. The equipment needs to be modernized and replaced or upgraded. It's very, very important. At the same time, I know that there are those individuals who are my age who think, well, I don't have young children, I don't need to support that. I will do everything in my power to support this, and so that folks understand. Just the fact that maybe you don't have a child in the school district, it doesn't mean that we want to have schools that are not up to par. That affects the way people look at they evaluate moving into Apache Junction based on the quality of the schools and the school district. If we can't measure up and have that appeal, we're going to lose folks who then they'll move to Mesa and go to school there. And so by all means, I would like to see this bond passed.
Thank you. Bambi, same question. Apache Junction Unified School District is going out for a bond this coming election cycle. Do you support this bond and effort, and if so, how do you plan on helping secure its approval?
If there's ever anything that we need to invest in, it's our future. Our children are our future, whether they're mine, whether they're my neighbors, whether they're somebody down the streets. But every child that comes to Apache Junction and is going to go through our school system deserve to have a safe and clean and healthy environment. I absolutely am behind this bond. I would like to think that everybody is going to think this is not whether I go to school or whether my child goes to school, but this is a quality of life issue. We want to talk about quality of life for ourselves at all different age groups. We need to do it for everybody else's age group as well, whether it's young, whether it's old. When we have something and we're saying that this is where we're going to educate people, we need to make sure that it is a safe, clean, healthy environment, and I'll promote that anywhere I go.
Thank you. Tess, the Apache Junction Unified School District is going out for a bond in this upcoming election cycle. Do you support this bond and effort, and if so, how do you plan on helping secure its approval?
I haven't seen the bond this go-around, so I don't know all of the specifics about it. But I can tell you, I was an active member who was with the Save Our Schools, the SOS bond issue, what was it, about 4 years ago. I actively was working with that group to get the bond passed, which unfortunately did not happen. I don't know how many of you have children in schools here. I heard it mentioned earlier. I can remember that some of the issues with our schools are deplorable. Some of the bathrooms and different rugs, carpeting, all kinds of stuff is just in deplorable conditions at our schools. We would be embarrassed if our homes looked that way and we had people come here to visit to see our home that way. So how are we going to get people, as Bambi said, who want to come here and live in this community and bring their kids into schools that, well, they're crappy, okay? Yeah, they just need attention. They haven't had the adequate attention that they've needed for a long time. So yes, we need to get a bond passed in this community so that we can be proud of our schools, that our kids will enjoy going to. Kids aren't going to study hard if they hate the area where they have to go to study. They need places that are comfortable and encouraging them to want to be there. So no matter what the issues of this bond are, I'm all for it because we need it desperately.
Thank you. Mo, your cleanup on this one. Apache Junction Unified School District is going out for a bond this upcoming election cycle. Do you support this bond effort? And if so, how do you plan on securing its approval?
First of all, need to think about it. What is our future? Every family have their kids are their future. How you protect them, how you educate them, what you do. We have to take every effort to get the bond and educate our children, and they can have a better life and better educations. And is a simple thing is the second parents for the kids is the school teachers. They have a respect for them. They teach them the life. They teach them what they're going to go through. They teach them every single thing's on it. We have to protect that to better schooling, better teacher, better funding, bonds, all that stuff. We have to protect them for the kids. Kids are our future. And school need to be maintained right, need to be taking care of the properties, need to be taking care of the maintenance, taking care of all that stuff. A lot of people voluntarily working over there and all that stuff. Just the best thing in this world, protect your children, get them a better education. That's a bond in your people's hand. When the vote comes in, we're asking for the vote, yes, for those bonds to get approved. Our children, our future is going to be the best in this world or this country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, Bambi, you're leading off on this question. 2 years ago, the City Council adopted an updated strategic plan. 2 of the 4 strategic priorities included business recruitment expansion and workforce development. In your role on City Council, what can you do to support this plan to attract new businesses and industry in the target sectors?
You know, I think one of the smartest things the city did was they brought in some new people that are actually out there beating the bushes to bring in new businesses. They're the ones that have gone out and they know how to market us outside of here. Sometimes as a council person, you may not make an individual item happen for a city, but what you can do is work with the staff and work on the council to see that we put in the personnel who have the expertise to go out and bring those opportunities back to us. I'd love to say that I'm the person that's going to go out and be able to find a factory that's going to come in here and plop down. But I know that we're smart enough as a city that we hired some of the brightest young people that are very involved in going out and marketing us as a city to these businesses. That's part of what we have to do as being a city is we have to be a brand of our own. Apache Junction is a saleable item that we need to sell to businesses and industries. And with those industries that come, we need to expand, as Tess was talking about, we need to expand the education. We're putting so many homes and families in the area, but you don't want them to work and play in Mesa. You don't want them to work and play someplace else. You want them to have their home here, find their job to stay here, and then also spend their funds here because we've had the entertainment. So we need to educate, and having the right staff and promoting our city properly is how we bring them into town.
Okay, thank you. Tess, same question. 2 years ago, the City Council adopted an updated strategic plan. 2 of the 4 strategic priorities included business recruitment, expansion, and workforce development. In your role on the City Council, what can you do to support this plan to attract new businesses and industry in the target sectors?
I'd like to be able to just wave my magic wand and hope that businesses would just come clamoring here and want to just set up their business here. I mean, look at our view with the superstitions and everything. You'd think that people would want to come here, but apparently that's not enough to bring large businesses here. We do need these businesses, and as Bambi said, we've started. There's been a lot of changes in just the last 4 years that I've been on council. All the new people that have been hired, they are working diligently. As Peter said, Patrick Ainsworth, in his job as economic development, is reaching out to these businesses all over the country. There's all kinds of things being put in place, things that are in place on the internet, on videos and everything, advertising Apache Junction. And I think we need to do more and more of that. I mean, constantly. We need to be vigilant about advertising Apache Junction and what we have to offer to businesses. I'm not a business expert. I don't know. You always hear things about, well, they offer tax breaks to businesses. And I'm not saying that's good or bad because I don't know, but that's something we can discuss for bringing business here. But whatever we need to do, we do need to definitely bring more business here and not just homes. We want places here where the people who are moving here can also work here. So it all kind of goes hand in hand. And that is definitely where we're headed. We're looking at it. It's hopefully coming soon.
Okay, thank you. Mo, 2 years ago, the City Council adopted an updated strategic plan. 2 of the 4 strategic priorities included business recruitment expansion and workforce development. In your role on City Council, what can you do to support this plan to attract new businesses and industry in target sectors?
That's a wonderful question. I need to bring it up to everybody's attention. You want to open up a business, you want to do something, require permits. You want to build a business, require permits. State statute said is of 4 to 6 weeks. Apache Junction sends you the email that it takes 14 to 15 weeks to get the permit. In their books are 6 to 8 weeks. People are sitting for 14 weeks to want to open up a business, they can't get the permits. I have an email came through from the architects and general contractors. They've been sitting for 14 weeks, 15 weeks, they have not got the permit yet. I forwarded those emails to Darrell Cross and Vice Mayor Robert Schroeder, and they were looking into all that stuff, what's going on. We built the bathrooms. Took me 16 weeks to get the permits. And those people, they want to open up the business. They want to spend their money. Our development service do not have enough employees to work on it and get this all the problem resolved. Only our city development service is catering to the big companies, not the small mom-and-pop business who are the backbone of this city. They are not making an easy process. That's what we need to look into it. What we can do to make a process easy for the small businesses, they open the businesses, they pay the taxes, how the city is going to survive. We need to wake up, we need a people. We need a people, this council member, whoever be elected, whoever they are, they need to go talk to the people, what problem they have, and they can go talk to the city to fix their problems. That's what we need to be done to be successful town and successful city.
Thank you. Peter, you're clean up on this one. 2 years ago, the City Council adopted an updated strategic plan. 2 of the 4 strategic priorities included business recruitment expansion and workforce development. In your role on City Council, what can you do to support this plan to attract new business and industry in the target sectors?
As I had mentioned earlier, I was appointed to the board of GPEC, the Greater Phoenix Economic Council. Serving on that board, I have the opportunity to learn about the appeal of the Greater Phoenix area for business development. And it is extraordinarily hot right now. And many businesses, national and international, are looking to expand or bring their operations to the greater Phoenix area. Patrick Ainsworth and I have had conversations, and he is working with individuals from GPEC to identify businesses where there would be a fit for us out here, where it has the land necessary as well as the support necessary. And I think the advantage that I have is being able to ask questions of the GPEC folks as to how effectively they're working on trying to help us land these businesses. Now, realize this, you bring a major business into the area, it's not going to happen in 2 months, but at least there is a process underway, and I am pleased to be able to help try and keep that going. In terms of, and well, also with Patrick Ainsworth, he has a real strong knowledge of the areas in the city where we can employ commercial business or retail, and we need to be careful to make sure we reserve that area, not let it turn residential. We need to make sure it remains commercial or retail. And then for the training, we need to encourage the Central Arizona College to continue their training as well. I think the school district is also doing some training as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Tess, you're leading us off on this one. And we're going to stick with the some questions wrapped around the adoption of the Economic Development Strategic Plan. So one of the action items was to develop a downtown entertainment plan. Recently, there have been meetings with stakeholders in the downtown area and a public open house to discuss the downtown master plan update. What are your thoughts about the future of the downtown, and how would you propose helping to secure the vision?
Well, our way to secure the vision is what we're doing right now. I do believe the sale of 10.4 acres of land down where the old Grand Hotel was, what Apache Junction did for the first time in our history, other than buying the rodeo grounds, we went out and bought, we are buying 10.4 acres of commercial property right down here, as I said, where the Grand Hotel used to sit. Not on the U.S. Highway, it's back behind it. That is going to give the city of Apache Junction the ability to say, here is a downtown area, and as an aside, the meeting that was just mentioned, that Ward just mentioned, is that all of the stakeholders, all the people who attended that meeting, and all of us on city council who met with developers, we all pretty much selected the same general vicinity around the focal point as our downtown. Bambi mentioned it earlier. What do we want for a downtown? We probably want a place that's identified where people can go to and then walk around. Not a mile away from start to finish, but within a couple blocks. An entertainment area, place where you can go eat, where you can have boutique shops. Just a nice little enjoyable area. So we are buying that land, and I think it closes and it's done and handed over to us and all in about 10 more days. So that's where our we're finalizing that. I forgot your question. The
downtown master.
The downtown master plan. So that's what's happening with it.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Mo, same question, sticking with the downtown redevelopment strategic plan. One of the action items was to develop a downtown entertainment plan. Recently, there have been meetings with stakeholders in the downtown area and a public open house to discuss the downtown master plan update. What are your thoughts about the future of the downtown, and how would you propose helping to secure the vision?
That's a wonderful plan. The city is working on it, and then I would say that's with the council and the city purchasing their property and bringing this downtown area, that's a wonderful. I think we are the followers. We don't have not done that one before in the city of Apache Junction, Chandler, Gilbert, Scarsdale, downtown. They are extremely successful. And we in this, they have to be, if we worked out and designed that one, that would be a wonderful, this be a big time economic growth for this Apache Junction. And we like to see this 1.2 million tourism comes to Apache Junction. They pass by on Brown Road, Last Dutchman, or they go to Goldfield or the road. We need to find the way to attract those people to stop and shop at local at Apache Junction and generate the revenue for the city of Apache Junction. Most of the revenue is start going towards county. Goldfield goes down, they go over there, Tortilla Flat and all that stuff. That is Maricopa County. We have a great opportunity in this town to build something special to keep those all the tourism in Apache Junction. The people shop local, they come over there, spend their money, and the city of Apache Junction will be economically be a great city. And then plus, we need to bring some more attention on this area that we can have a big builders coming in or funding secure, and we can have a beautify this town, to have a horse statues and all that stuff. That's my vision, is also to attract those people coming in and spending money to Apache Junction will be a successful city.
Thank you. Peter, sticking with the adoption of the Economic Development Strategic Plan, one of the action items was to develop a downtown entertainment plan. Recently, there have been meetings with stakeholders in the downtown area and a public open house to discuss the downtown master plan update. What are your thoughts about the future of the downtown, and how would you propose helping to secure the vision?
Thank you, Ward. It is very important that Apache Junction develop a downtown entertainment or downtown venue that will attract folks. I think the effort to purchase this 10 acres is a wonderful, wonderful component for this. I think getting design professionals to help with that, to really make certain that we create an appealing, workable, user-friendly environment there will be very helpful. And I think while that's important, that's not the only thing. I think we need to make certain that we are looking at creating a larger downtown entertainment area. You know, there's some locations in that area that need a little upgrade. They need to be enhanced a little, and I would like to see the city take on that challenge of seeing if we can't get the owners of these areas, these business locations, to step up and improve the environment. I know that's not easy, it's been done before, but I'm thinking perhaps when they see that we're really taking a strong stand here and we're trying to create something good, that it might be incentive for these business owners to upgrade their business or the area that they where they have other businesses that they lease out. It's important that we have that whole area has to be one and has to create the appeal for our downtown.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Bambi, final question here for you.
That's right on my
your
priority
cleanup,
list
I guess. Yep,
anyway,
yep.
wasn't it?
So, are you good?
downtown
You need me to
area-
repeat the question?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
The downtown area is, to me, one of the key points that we really have to focus on. You've got all these homes coming in, and if you're going to bring them into the city, there has to be a destination for them. And when I'm thinking of destination, I'm thinking that we could bring in, you want entertainment, maybe it's a theater, you need food, but you need food that's something that's different. So either you have several different mom and pop locations, or you try with Patrick's help to try to get something like a Joe's Crab Shack, which there's only like 4 in the entire state. That's a restaurant people will drive 20 miles to go to. There's also the gift shops, but we have so much tourism and so much beauty in the area. It'd be a great place also to have a business that people can sign up and go out and take Jeep tours of our mountains. we need to really look at when we go down to the Mesa Gateway Airport, they have a billboard. The billboard about Apache Junction shows one person hiking. We are so much more than one person hiking. Because if I was that person that came off that plane, I might think that that's just desolate and all there is hiking. I don't know about the horses. I don't know about the art. I don't know about the botanicals or anything else that's out here. The downtown area has to be something that we brand ourselves as. We have to put the entire advertising package together. And I'm sure with the help of our Chamber of Commerce, we could come up with a really kick-ass idea on how we can brand ourselves and build that so it's cohesive. I don't care.
Okay, thank you. We have a 1-minute comment. Mo?
Yes, city is working on very diligently to bring these plans and downtown businesses. That's a wonderful thing. That's a great thing for the people, downtown Apache Junction and people of Apache Junction. But they have to look at the process. What's the process we have to go through with the permitting, the development services, all that stuff. That process takes months and months and months. The people, they don't have a time or they don't have a money to waste for that long to get something is going. They need to fix our own house, they need to fix the development service, get the permit, get the business come, and the city will be successful.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next question. Mo, your lead off on this one. 85% of small business owners are concerned about the impact of rising inflation. Are there any measures the city can take to assist Apache Junction area businesses?
Small businesses are the backbone of the United States. If you are a smart business owner, you don't need help. You will have a budget set. You will have when you are back in 2008, 2009, economy was bad. I opened up my business over here in a bad economy. It's still thriving and successful. Business owner to figure it out, watch it, what they spend. They don't need to be driving a Rolls Royce or Mercedes when the small business is doing it well. They need to contribute to the community, and the community is going to support them no matter what. United States people, they go eat 2 or 3 times a week. That's a whole United States study is. They can eat pizza, they can eat burger, they can eat this one because both family members works. And that's why the small business owner is going to carry the United States, make the process easy, small business owner, and make sure that you have a safe funding, make sure you have a backup plan for it when any problem comes up. If you are losing a business because of bad economy and all that stuff, this is not a government fault, this is not a people fault, that's your own fault because you cannot manage your own business. I'm a business owner for 18 years, a very successful business, because I know what to do and what's the best for the community, what's the best for the people, and bring the people in. That's you start the business, that's your job, to promote your business, work with the people. People will support you. If you lose your business, it's not the people's fault, it's your own fault.
Okay, thank you. Peter, same question. 85% of small business owners are concerned about the impact of rising inflation. Are there any measures the city can take to assist Apache Junction area businesses?
There's no doubt that this rising inflation has had a serious effect on everyone, not just businesses. However, small business owners are certainly going to feel the impact of that. One thing I've learned in my years of, I think, being on the chamber board and just being in the business world, a lot of small businesses start because someone just loves doing something, whatever that is, but they aren't necessarily prepared to start a business and understand the dynamics that go into running a business, budgeting and employment and, payroll and taxes, all those things. So I think people have a tendency then to get overwhelmed. And I think that's where the city can come in with its business resource directory and the chamber as well to help these folks before they get too far along and realize that they don't know what they're doing, to be able to help them and give them some training, some tools to be able to help them work through those lean times, but also be able to budget themselves properly so that they know how to spend their money at the right time and also have a reserve for those slow times. It's very difficult, and of course, the cost for supplies and leasing buildings and all, it's extraordinarily high, and it's out of control, and unfortunately, there's only so much we can do, but I think if you can help a business owner learn some of the key elements of running a business, that will help that person then to be able to succeed.
Thank you. Bambi, 85% of small business owners are concerned about the impact of rising inflation. Are there any measures the city can take to assist Apache Junction area businesses?
The city itself is, on an ongoing basis, trying to advertise itself and people to come here to help our businesses, because we need them to survive, we need them to succeed and flourish. It is their taxes that pay for our roads, that pay for our police, pay for our libraries. The fact that the city and the library and the chamber all have resources to help small businesses and help their education. I do feel, because of the fact that I have been a consultant for small businesses for many years before moving from Pennsylvania, 9 times out of 10, the reason a business is starting to fail is a lack of knowledge on how to take care of that business. But over 50% can turn around if they get coaching, if they get assistance. And one of the best places is sitting in our backyard. It's our library system. Our library is one of the best in the entire state. When you go in there and you can go use the computers, go online, so people that don't have things can go to those resources that we tell them about. They can take extra courses, they're free. Learn more things about how to run a business, where to go to get extra resources, whether it's funding, whether it's help, whether it's training. Those things are available, and that's because our library is so well equipped with them and the area for them to use them in, as well as our Chamber of Commerce with its and our local colleges that have different courses for new entrepreneurs.
Thank you. Tess, same question. You're batting cleanup here. 85% of small business owners are concerned about the impact of rising inflation. Are there any measures the city can take to assist Apache Junction area businesses?
Well, I've never been a business owner. I wouldn't know how to run a business, a small business. Well, I could, but I'm no expert. But I think the obvious is there. It was mentioned that Mo said, you know, if you're have a good business that you're offering a product to the community that they want, you're going to be successful. Bambi and Peter have just both said that it's doable, but you have to be offering what the community wants, what the community needs. Bambi just said it, and I can't say any more without sounding just repetitive, that our library has all kinds of information, and I do know a few years ago, Marianne, correct me if I'm wrong, but the chamber had seminars or classes of how to start up small businesses. If anything, if you're asking me as a city council member where my responsibility falls in this, if one of the things to keep people here, keep people happy, our community, have businesses here that are successful so that they don't just keep opening up and 2 years later go out of business, maybe we need to work more with our library and our Chamber of Commerce to help to offer a service there to these small businesses. Because as Bambi said, a lot of times people just start a business because of a dream. That doesn't mean it's going to be successful, but maybe if we're helping them in some way. So as I said, I've never been a business owner, and I don't even have business acumen in my family, but sounds like a logical way to handle the problem.
Okay. Thank you. Follow-up, Mo? 1 minute.
Business is a lot of people, they want to come to Apache Junction because it's a growing town. South side, there's a growing, I don't know how many thousands of homes going on and people coming in over Apache Junction. We have to make the process easy for the business owners. They don't have to sit and wait for 16 weeks or 14 weeks to get the permits. This is our issue going on. I have an email from the Apache Junction saying that they have 14 to 16 weeks to get the permit. Our council member working on it. Hopefully, if I get elected, my first goal is to protect the businesses, help them with the process, and they can open, and the city can collect the taxes, and the city will be much better shape. They don't have to worry about their economic problems.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to get into our final question before we move into closing statements. So, Peter, your lead off on this one. We look out our windows, our doors, driving down the road, we see one of the most recognizable mountain ranges in the country and in the world, if not that, one of the most beautiful landscapes that we see. There's been plenty of times I've been driving down the road as the sun rises over the Superstitions, and I pull over because it's just stunning, the views that we get. What role do you envision for tourism in our economic future for Apache Junction, and what role can the council play in helping with its success?
There's no doubt that tourism is essential for this community, in large measure because of the superstitions and that appeal of the Western lifestyle, and we certainly want to encourage that. One of the things I think is very important for this community is there has to be an appropriate amount of hotel accommodations. You can't have people come out and visit if they're going to be trying to find a room somewhere, and I think our selection of hotels isn't the best. I think as a member of City Council, I would certainly encourage the effort to identify some of the areas where we could have some commercial or retail, certainly retail development, if we could have a developer come in and build a hotel or a conference room where we could draw and attract people to come in, not just for the view, but to be able to hold meetings there and be able to enjoy the view as well as conduct business. But I think as a member of City Council, I feel we have to make certain that there's availability of accommodations that will support the tourism.
Thanks. Bambi, same question. What role do you envision for tourism in our economic future for Apache Junction, and what role can the council play in helping with its success?
We need to build Peter's Hotel, okay? I've had several different events that I hosted with the veterans out in this area, but it was a major issue. They wanted to come out here. They wanted to spend time. They wanted to go out to the Mammoth. They wanted to go out and enjoy the mountains. They wanted to go horseback riding. They wanted to do so much, and they needed someplace to stay because of the fact that if you're going to come out here, we're not a one-day adventure. Apache Junction is at least a weekend. If you look around at all the things we have to do out here, who would want to come out here for 4 hours? They want to come out here and spend the weekend. So if we're not going to develop more bed and breakfast out here, we got to get a hotel. Because the second that you change that big billboard down at the airport and you start putting in pictures of the mountain with the cougar on it, you put in kids going out at Goldfield and they're panning for gold. you see a pink Jeep tour going across someplace, or somebody else identifying different cactus, and then you also can have your horses going across there. But if you don't show them everything, they're not coming. And if you show them everything, they want to stay. So we got to make a package.
Okay, Tess, same question. What role do you envision for tourism in our economic future for Apache Junction, and what role can the council play in helping with its success?
Well, tourism is definitely, will always be on our list as something that we are a tourist town. If not year-round, a great majority of the year anyway, at least in the winter months. And we need to expand on our draw for that. As I said earlier, I was on Parks and Rec Board since 1997. And if you go look at the old Parks and Rec master plan, not only was there the plan for buying the rodeo grounds, which just took place here in the last few months, so it takes 20 years to make a change. Another thing that was on that plan, and it was a suggestion from me, is I believe that out here at up there at Prospector Park, along with the rodeo grounds, is we need an amphitheater. We need an amphitheater where people are sitting, looking at entertainment with the superstitions in the background. Can you imagine how many people would come here to Apache Junction if we put on big concerts right here in the city, bringing in, I don't know, how many people, 50,000 people to a concert coming here. A lot of those people would need a place to stay. So yes, we need Peter's Hotel. So I think all of this is kind of a dream that we're having. We are discussing these things, but it's a matter of now making it happen. I just think besides the rodeo ground and what that's going to do for our city, that amphitheater, I've just been sold on my own idea for a long time.
Thank you. And just as a comment, when I have family come into town, I'd like to put them in Peter's Hotel. Mo, same question. What role do you envision for tourism in our economic future for Apache Junction, and what role can the council play with its success?
The major problem that we have in this town, in this city, people want to come, open up the business, they want to bring the tourism over here, they want to attract the people over here. And if you want to start that one, your zone will allow you, for the commercial zone, do all that stuff. But they attach the conditional use permit. Conditional use permits you have to go through, there's all kind of restriction and they put it on. Then the people backed off on it. You can't get the permits. We have the 1.2 million tourism come through here in Apache Junction. How we can stop them, that's the best plan. City of Apache Junction thought about it, creating a downtown and this area where the people can go and look at it. That is the best plan. I don't know how long it's going to take to accomplish that goal. 1.2 million tourism, if half of them people we can pull into the downtown Apache Junction will be the best city, best town in whole state of Arizona. We have a Superstition Mountains. Everybody come down over here. We have people pass through over here to go to the Goldfield Ghost Town. That's money going to the county. Then after that, they go to Tortilla Flat, is money going to Maricopa County. We need to come up with a special plan how we can stop those people, shop local, and spend the money in Apache Junction. We need to create some kind of situation over here to make it easy to get the permitting and open it up the businesses and attract the tourism and bring the people in town. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, that concludes our questions for the evening. So, Mo, you were the last in the first round, so you get to lead off with our closing statements. 1 minute.
Thank you. My name is Mahmoud Mayuddin. Everybody call me Mo. I'm the business owner of the Hitching Post. This is my second try to serve the community and serve the public. Have a different idea, different business mind, start doing that. Apache Junction is one of the greatest city I have been. I've been to New York, I've been to other countries, I've been this one. Why I pick the Apache Junction town is a small field community. Everybody know each other, everybody care about each other. That's what my goal is, to serve the community. I help the community at my business, but I want to give them more, and I want to work with the county, make the process easy, make the work with the people, attract more businesses, make this city successful. Thank you.
Tess, your closing statements?
Okay, Tess Nesser. I've lived in 7 states. My dad was career military. So I've lived in 7 states and 1 foreign country, plus I've lived in Hawaii before it was a state and then after it was a state. I've seen different cultures, different people, different things, different ways of life. And I think I have the experience that I've gained from all that I've brought here. I'm kind of a newcomer to Apache Junction. I've only been here for 38 years. So what I'm getting at is Apache Junction has become home to me because my dad went back in the military during the Korean War when I was 3 years old, and I never had a home. So this has become my home. So Apache Junction became important to me, and that's why I'm doing this, to give back to my community. It's why I volunteered for years, and that's how I'm here for the community.
Thank you. Bambi, your closing statement?
I'd like to first thank the rest of the council and the people that I've met and worked with over the last 2 years in my time learning, growing in my position on the council. Because I came in here without an election. I came in here because people thought they would give me a chance and give me an opportunity. They knew I loved my city. They knew I was civically involved. And I thank them for giving me the opportunity. I've enjoyed it. I expect to keep growing, keep learning, and yes, I'll be the voice that will actually ask the uncomfortable, difficult questions because somebody has to. Thank you.
Peter, your closing statement?
Thank you. Thank you for attending the candidate forum this evening. It is refreshing to see how many people are interested in the candidates who will work together to guide this city. I believe that having the responsibility of representing the residents of the city on the council is a blend of knowledge, experience, and commitment to the city and its residents. I have a passion for this city as demonstrated by my service to the city that came about prior to me becoming a resident of the city. That passion will blend with the wealth of experience with the city and the knowledge gained over the past 2 years on city council. There's an old saying I believe is very true. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. I care very deeply for this city and want very much to represent the residents on the city council for another term. So I trust you will consider Peter Heck when casting your ballot. Thank you.
Thank you. And this concludes our forum for this evening. Thanks to the candidates for their participation and their commitment to being involved in making Apache Junction a better community. You can best reward their efforts by casting a vote for the candidate of your choice. And I would again like to thank the Apache Junction Area Chamber of Commerce for hosting and Salt River Project for their sponsorship in tonight's forum. We would also like to express our appreciation again to the City of Apache Junction for allowing the use of the City Council chambers and recording tonight's program. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your interest in this forum and this highly important City Council race. Again, remember to vote on July 30th. Thanks.